Okay, this problem is from number 3 on your word problems worksheet. The problem said that on a math test you can choose any 20 out of 23 questions. So I would set it up like this, where you have 23, but you choose 20. And I think you guys were taught to write it like this. Now the original formula that you should use is the 23, the total possible amount, goes on top, and the factorial is there, over the 20 that you choose from, and then this 3 is from a 23 minus 20. So this is what it actually is. It's 23 factorial over 20 factorial, because you can choose 20, but then that 3 came from doing 23 minus 20. And that's basically how you do each of these problems. Now how we got to just this and this was because I just put the answer to 23 minus 20 here. And with factorials, that's just 23 times 22 times 21 times 20 and so on, all the way down until you get to 1. So this 20 is 20 times 19 times 18 times 17 times 16 times 15, all the way until you get to 1. The reason I have these two things crossed out is because from 20 to 1 is the same. This giant multiplication problem divided by this giant multiplication problem just cancels it out to where it's 1. So you don't even have to worry about it. So it's just 23 times 22 times 21. And this is not there anymore. So then you just have your 3 times 2 times 1. So we got our answer for the numerator, our answer for the denominator. Do your division problem and you can get 1,771. The next problem I'll go over is number 2 from the word problems worksheet. That's where you have 2 CDs from a selection of 20 best-selling CDs. So you want how many different pairs of CDs can he choose if he chooses between 2. So that's 20, choose 2. We would write that 20 and 2. So right away, I'm going to plug those numbers into my formula. I'm going to do 20 factorial over 2, because we have to choose 2 factorial. And then when I do 20 minus 2, I get 18 factorial. Instead of writing out that whole big multiplication problem that we wrote out before, I can just do this. I can do 20 times 19 times 18 factorial, since I have an 18 factorial down here. And then I have 2 factorial, and then that 18 factorial. And hopefully you can see that since I have an 18 factorial in the numerator and denominator, that'll cancel out and just be 1. So now it makes it a lot easier. I just have 20 times 19, and then 2 factorial is just 2 times 1. And then when you figure those out, you'll get your answer. The next one I'm going to go over is number 7 on your word problems worksheet. That's where you have 13 players and you have to choose 9. So that's 13, choose 9. Since the 13 is how many we start with total, that goes on top. 13 factorial over, and then we would do 9 factorial. And then 13 minus 9 is 4 factorial. So when I do my multiplication problem, I'm going to go from 13 to 9 and then stop with the 9 factorial, since I have a 9 factorial down here. And here's what I mean. I'm going to go 13 times 12 times 11 times 10 times 9 factorial, and then just stop right there. Then I have my 9 factorial and my 4 factorial. Since I have a 9 factorial in the numerator and a 9 factorial in the denominator, those cancel out. And I'm left with 13 times 12 times 11 times 10 over, and then 4, I have this 4 factorial in the denominator, that's 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. And then you do your math and you figure out the total up top, and in the denominator do your division and you get your final answer. The next one I'm going to go over is number 4 on your practice worksheet. That's the one where you have 8 household chores. And you have to do 3/4 of them. This is a 2-step problem because first you have to figure out what number 3/4 of 8 is. So when you do, what I would do is I want to do 3/4 of them. I know that of always means to multiply, and them are the 8, them meaning the 8 chores. I'm going to put 8 there. So really that problem is 3/4 times 8 over 1. 3 times 8 is 24, 4 times 1 is 4, and 24 over 4 is just 6. So there you have your number that you're working with. You have 8 chores, you choose 6. So now we can do our combination problem. 8 chores, choose 6. So we have 8 factorial over 6 factorial, and then when we do 8 minus 6, we get 2 factorial. So all that means is I have this 6 here, so I'm going to stop my countdown at 6. So I'm going to do 8 times 7 times 6 factorial. I have 6 factorial times 2 factorial. I can cancel those out because I have 2 6 factorials. I'll do my 8 times 7. And then 2 factorial down here is just 2 times 1. And then do your math, do your division, and then get your final answer. For the last one that I'll help with, I'm going to go back to number 5 on the word problems worksheet. This is on the science fair experiment. It says 2 units are selected for testing from every 500 units produced. How many ways can these 2 units be selected? This is a 500 total, choose 2. So you could do 500, 2. That means 500 would go on top as your factorial, and then I'm going to put my 2 there, but then 500 minus 2 is 498 factorial. So you don't have to write out a huge multiplication problem all the way from 500, going back from 500 to 498. That's just 2. So you can do 500. Oops. Times 499, and then we're just going to stop at 498 factorial. And then we have a 498 factorial, and then we have a 2 factorial. This is nice because I have this and I have this, and it cancels out. So that will be 500 times 499, and then this 2 factorial is just 2 times 1. So then you just have to multiply your top numbers, get your answer, multiply your bottom numbers, get your answer, and then do your division problem. And then you'll be done with that one.